Paul Spear, and I'm here with Sean Cassidy. And you have a very unique style of trying to give back. And you specialize in social media. So why don't you explain to people what you try and do with your social media?
Well, thanks for your time today, Paul. I really appreciate it. Got to meet your dog and everything. I've been in social media for 14 years. So I was part of the upstart of Travelocity, and then early years of e-commerce and those worlds. And I was asked to beta test LinkedIn back then. So that was many, many years ago. And so I've been in social media really long time. And how I like to work in social media is I usually, I use the social space to get people national or international attention. How they can get noticed online.
Right.
And I kind of do this by working within the social space. I have around 300,000 followers right now, so I've been building for 14 years. I mean, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Before Facebook even existed and things. And I know we discovered each other through an event, recently here. And
right.
Now we're here in IB, and that you're kind of doing the interview about myself. My social giving and social space has been going on for a long time. I decided at one point to use it for social good, to help people get what they want. And I discovered that the social space and the internet space is, it's creating multimillionaires out there, and it's creating huge companies. But it's also changing the way people work and live.
Right.
And so what I've been doing now for many years of my life is using this space, how I know how to use this space, to help people get what they want.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. And you were telling at the event that Adele put on for the San Diego Small Business Forum, you were telling how you actually helped one photographer expand their business, and how it really blew up his business and turned it into a humongous business using social media, and just starting with the photograph.
Yeah. The Dan McGeorge Gallery here in Coronado, it's locally here, and the thing I didn't tell you is, for about 15 years of my life, I did pre-opening work of businesses, restaurants, hotels, and I would go business to business for 15 years of my life in the pre-opening work and travel a lot. And I was using social media early in that to virtually get inside businesses and companies, and, get access to people. So I became very good at that. And I walked into his gallery one day, and I liked his work because I'm Irish, and he's got a story of Ireland there, and he also does stuff in Coronado and the beach, and just wonderful work. And I said, he wasn't experienced in social media, and I said, Dan, I'd be glad to help you. And he says, I really don't have anything to lose, I guess. I mean, I've been working hard to get this gallery open and keep it open. So what I did work with Dan on is, one, blowing up his social media, and two, leveraging that to get him national attention. Which he ended up getting on both CNN and Fox and Friends and the Weather Channel, and he became a global viral phenomenon, mostly because of a story, right? So what I really am selling is stories, and what Dan's story was the rainbow proposal that people can Google online, and they can see it's been everywhere. It's been in the UK, and it's been in the Weather Channel and CNN and Fox News and Fox 5 here, and all these kind of arenas. Even the local media got really absorbed in it. But what I looked at was how to leverage social media for a story. And so Dan had came to me. I helped him initially kind of work in a retail environment, so he got more people to stay there and blow up his initially his Facebook arena. And then he had an amazing image that came up to him, right? One night, it was a storm, and the 3 rainbows went over the Hotel Del, and it was a beautiful sight. So he ran out of his gallery, went to the beach, and he took the site, and he knew that tourists would love it, people would love it. And he came back to me and says, how can I capitalize on this image? And he said, well, there's a backstory behind it, right? And I said, what's the backstory? He said, well, a couple came up to me with their digital camera and asked him to take a picture, and they had just got engaged. And so he did that. He was glad to do that for them. But later, when he had took the image, he blew it up, he realized he had gotten the same couple right underneath the rainbow at the moment of engagement. And so this phenomenon became the rainbow proposal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rainbow proposal, the moment of that period of time. And I said to Dan, I said, well, this is going to be very, very viral. And he didn't really believe me, and he said, well, I don't know why. I said, because people love stories, and people want to love to help people. And so what we're going to do is look everywhere in the world for this couple. I mean, you've lost track of them after you took in a picture and everything, but you now have captured a moment in time with them. And we're going to release it for Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to make a relationship with people next to you, have a lot of social media bearing, which would be the obvious one, would be the hotel itself, right? The Dell Hotel. And so he did everything I told him to do, make that relationships, do all those relationships. And, blew up the image on his own Facebook, pointing to the couple, saying, we're looking for this couple everywhere in the world. And sure enough, the Dell Hotel did share it, and it started to get shared like 100,000 times. And everybody in the world was looking, not just for the beautiful image. It's a beautiful image. Still, you can see it in the Hotel Dell today. He's got, and you can see it online, of course.
Right, but the search was for the couple.
Yeah, the search is for the couple, and the search is for the story,
mm-hmm.
right? And what people really attach to are emotional stories. They attach to the emotion of why people want something. And when I was saying in the thing which I did for the Small Business Forum, I was saying that products and services now are really, because in the social space and in the online space, they're sold a lot through emotions,
mm-hmm.
right? And so people are trying to think that they're actually selling products. They're not really selling products. They're selling, stories and emotions. Is what they're selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's things we need.
Because everybody has products.
Everybody has products. Yeah, you can. There's always a new product. There's always a product out there, right? And what because when you give to people, it's really what you're giving is giving like love or attention to people. When you buy them things and you get them things, it's really not the thing itself. It's the intention of it, right?
Right.
And I think that's true for that photographer, because I said that's the first thing I told him to do is stop selling photography, start selling experiences.
Right.
Create experiences in your gallery, right? And that's the first thing we did, start creating experiences, creating events, creating experiences around people attending the gallery, taking pictures with him, and then showing them, hey, they're from Singapore, they're from Scottsdale, they're from
mm-hmm.
other parts of San Diego, and that would get them interactive in that kind of arena and space. I've done this with many people, in the social space. I've helped them in many ways to tell craft stories,
right,
in the social space, because really what we're selling, and I'm selling, is storytelling.
Right.
Right? And what people really buy are stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're really buying, and that's true in all brands. I think all brand products are story brands.
Yeah.
And Apple has a story brand, and Google has a story brand, and people are very passionate about it.
Yeah.
BMW has a story
and they have
brand, and
an emotional attachment to those things.
Yes, very much so. Right? They have a very much, and you can see that as you go through life, and you start to say, well, this is from my grandmother. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people say, if there's a fire and you lose something in fire, it says, well, I had a box here, everything, but it has my memories in it. It has my grandmother's things and my stuff that were very,
and that's
very.
what people don't want to lose.
You don't want to lose that.
The TVs they can replace and other things, but the emotional attachments.
Yes.
They're there forever.
They're forever. I mean, and I think as you get deeper into that, really, that's who the human experience is. The human experience is experiences through life,
mm-hmm.
right? It's not objects, it's not even possessions, but it's how those experiences work through those objects and possessions,
Mm-hmm.
And so they have these objects and possessions have a feeling stuck to them, and then and experiences are what people continuously buy, right? They continually buy the feeling of experiences,
right,
and how they can be felt with their loved ones or themselves or other people. And the social space, since I've been around in it so long, is really selling that specific thing. I mean, it's selling emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's selling the desire of experiences to people, globally, all over the world. Your friends, the people that are with you, and the reason it's so addictive, so addictive, is because that's extremely addictive. Sharing stories with people about your life is extremely addictive, and that's why, now today, I mean, the average person is 4 or 5, 4 hours a day on Facebook. I mean, it's everywhere like that.
Right.
Everybody, and it's accepted now. It's becoming, they're at work and they're on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're at work and they're on social media, and so now employers are starting to have to give into it and say, hey, well, I'll just make you advocates of social media. And you work for me, but you'll be my advocate of my business, right? And social media. That's how I think a lot of things are going in the business world, right? They're going to go say, hey, well, all of my employees are advocates of me on social media, and they promote me on social media. And so when you met me at the event, and I'm very honored that you reached to me afterwards, right?
Yeah.
How I got to this point is a little bit odd, I guess, in a way, because what I told you at the event is that I served in the Air Force, right? I served in the military. I put myself to school, and after I got out of school, put myself to college, I entered the Air Force, right? And my brother had been in the Air Force too, so. And I tested in a certain way, and they put me in a special duty assignment. It was on a field operating agency. It was Randolph Air Force Base in Texas. And I would be kind of an early person using computers for classified information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really early times of how computers were used in the military. And so when I got out of the military, right, when I served my time and did that time in the military, I had already began to think oddly about information, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the government had taught me information, things that people don't normally see, you don't talk about, you're really not supposed to discuss, and or you're definitely not supposed to discuss. But they also taught me systematic systems about information, right? How information works, how the data works, how we communicate, even in a way that is not known to most people, right?
Right.
And so we're living in that. And after I went through that. And I went through the upstart of an internet company called Travelocity. I saw that internet company go from just a baby company to being bought out, becoming a huge mega company that would disrupt world travel. Right.
Right. No more travel agents.
There's no more travel agents, and things would get disrupted. And so I've seen disruption happening over and over again through industries.
Right.
Because of what's happening in the global internet space.
Yeah. Well, I was a stockbroker, and basically, I was a stockbroker for 17 years, mm-hmm. and I saw the discount brokers coming in, and it just disrupted the whole business, right. And I had to go look for another job because I saw, the demand for stockbrokers wasn't going to be what it was because the industry was changing. So,
yeah, it has disrupted. I mean, it's disrupting financial sectors, travel sectors, banking sectors. We take it all for granted now. All banking's online. I mean, you can still go physically to see people, but I don't know how much long it's going to last in the banking arena. But so many of those things are so much. When you look at Tesla today, electric cars. I mean, their total model is that you put down money online, mm-hmm. or you physically put down money and you buy it online. You reserve it online, and now they've reserved 500,000 cars that way. And that's a model that's. If it's very successful, there's no way it won't be duplicated, and the cost of it is so much less than what they currently do in the car systems of selling cars than that.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at really, really disruptive times we live in right now.
Right.
They're disruptive in the way we live life and how the life of our story of our life is being told. And what people, I guess, have to kind of really wake up to and realize is that everyone's now a media company.
Right.
You get it? Every person out there is a media company, right? And now they actually have media tools in front of them to make their own media. Videos are making a video right now. Share that online to as many followers as they have, and have other people share it, and other people share it. So we're dealing in a time of personal branding and business branding that has never been seen before in humankind. It's never been seen before.
Right.
And we're also living in a time where information is moving at a rate that has never happened before, and it's starting to double. You see, the informational arena because you can literally put video online, right, and you can say information, and that can be shared by 1,000 people, and of those 1,000 people, another 1,000 people get to read it or share it, and it's all being done through free content. And so what we have to kind of look at right now is, what does that mean, right? I can't say, even in my background, exactly where that's going to go. I don't know exactly where that's going to go, but I know it's going to change what I said in the meeting, world economy. It's going to change the world economy. Definitely starting in the United States, in this area, it's going to shift, one, about how people get access to information, how they sell information, and how they sell products and services to people.
Right. So what would you recommend for the small business owner that they do? How should they approach this social media market that's
Well, I think
there?
In the small business sector, a lot of them get overwhelmed because they're running a business on a daily area, and they say they don't have time to do that. But I mean, I guess the first thing I'm going to do is alleviate their anxiety and say most all the social medias are designed for 6th grade level. Okay, because they're meant for universal use. So if they weren't more for universal use, they can't really monetize something, right? If it's so elite, they can't really make a lot of money if something's super elite, right?
Right.
So the reason that Facebook can make billions of dollars and all these social media can make a lot of money is because it is actually designed at a child's level, okay, for a child's mind. And so oftentimes when I work with people, I say to them, start thinking like a child. Not like an adult, but think like a child. And so if you can kind of start relieving, remember when you were a child and everything was fascinating, everything was interesting. Stories were interesting to you, what your parents said to you, the little travels in the car were interesting to you. All these things were interesting to you.
Yeah.
So once you think like a child, you become much better at social media. And it also relieves that kind of anxiety about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for all small businesses, especially if they're a retail or a physical site, there needs to be an introduction to who they are and a story, right? So usually what I say is like, it's a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute video. It's a tour of the place. What do they have? What do they sell? And then they release that out to their followers and the people and ask their friends and everybody share it. So that everybody knows, one, what they have, what they can get from them. Because people have to feel, that they are involved in their business.
Right.
In order for them to buy the products and services of the business. And so what's happening now is business brands and personal brands are merging. Business, if you own a business, you are the face of the business, and you are also the person telling people about what you have. I mean, we can't take Mark Zuckerberg away from Facebook. You can't say this is not Facebook. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is Facebook, right? If you own a restaurant, you own that restaurant. It is your restaurant. I guess you're right. Right. And you own a gas station. You own that gas station. It's your gas station. You have all the products and services in that gas station, and all the special things you do for that. You own a hotel. You own any of these kind of products and services you have out there. Even the smallest thing is unique, right? And what it is mostly in the social space where you're dealing in an ocean. Because I compare social media to surfing. Like we're here in IB was like the home of surfing, right? But surfing is kind of like this. You're looking for the kind of the best wave, and you're looking to ride the wave the best you can. And so what happens in the social media space is that a wave hits, right? It's like an interesting story, like fascinating to people, and so people start sharing it, right? And so what you're looking to do once that happens, because you can do that with a video of a small business, right? A video of a small business that says, this is who I am, this is what I do, I've been in business for 15 years, we love what we do, this is my son works with me, my daughter works with me, this is what they're about and who they're about. These pure stories actually are viral, right? They actually, because somewhere along the way we got into real life stories on TV and they became viral. Where did, where did that happen? Where did Kardashians and all that, when did that start happening where that became so valuable? Because we still today don't understand that people want to pay for that. They want to pay for real life stories or potential real life stories, right? But every one of the business owners have that story. They have a fascinating real life story of how they got into business, why they got into business, how their business runs and what they have, and the history of their business, right? And you can see this in the brewery businesses here. Okay, this is the history of the business. You walk in 1954, my father made that business, and since then we've grown to 7 locations, and all this story is what people buy. right? And they really want to attach to that, and that works on a local level like never before, like never before.
Right.
Because when you create local loyalty in a local area, you know, like I think everything in the social space and the business social space is going back to old times. It's going back to the 1950s, you know, where everybody knew each other, and everybody talked to each other, and everybody was kind of like in there. And so these kind of niches are happening in social space now that were something that our grandparents knew about, or our great-grandparents knew about. And it's creating community. That's what it's doing. It's creating community. And so this also, you know, puts it out there. You can't really provide bad products and services anymore because the chatter out there is intense.
Right.
When you do have bad product or service out there, it in the new economy, which there's a term for it, it's called sharing economy. It's a sharing economy, meaning that I'm sharing with you, you're sharing with me. I'm providing value to you, you're providing value to me. And this is really the future of all business.
Right.
You know, the future of all business lay in this sharing economy. That create value through products or services or through information to people, and this will increase value. You know, and you can see this in personal brands that people can ask any amounts of money to work with them. Right? They can you can do like that because. And the background of it is an illusion between the product and service and the value of the product and service. You know, sometimes when I go and I love to have fish tacos, you know, and sometimes I go to a place with fish tacos and they cut it, it's perfect, you know, but they don't give me a lot of meat, right? And then I'm like, I don't know if I'll come back for that. But then I go to the next place over there and it's packed, a place like that, and you get a huge amount of meat, right? You know, for those fish tacos, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep coming back. You know, I'm gonna keep coming back because, and I'm also gonna tell people about that.
Yeah.
That experience I had. I'm going to tell people. And now we're living in a space where I can go tell it on video, I can tell thousands of people, and that can totally affect that small business. And the other thing a small business really has to do is create this ability to connect with all the people in the community that have these big social followings. So if there's a big hotel in town, right, or a big place in town, collaborate with them so that in the social space, you know, make cross promotions with them. You know, because we get visitors coming into town, they want to know where the restaurant is. They want to know what to do, what to have, what to buy, right? And so we're now living in a space where a small business can connect all these other businesses in town.
Right.
And promote back and forth.
Right.
And so I hope that was kind of a long answer, but to your question. But yeah. And there's a lot, I mean, of course, there's a lot of things that someone can do. These are some of the suggestions.
Yeah. So really, for the person who has a small business, the first thing they need to do is start working and creating their social network.
Yeah.
That's important.
And they have to do it without fear. You know, I mean, I think in certain generational gaps in the social space, there's fear. There's techno fear, and two, there's fear of sharing.
Right.
You know, and if you own a business, there's really, I mean, you have to explain in case you're doing something very elite. You know, we only want 10 people to know. But if you own a business, you're really a public entity, right? I mean, literally, your information's public, but you're also a public entity, meaning you have. I ask people all the time, well, you have 5,000 people you can have in your personal Facebook, right? Yeah. And I said, you own a business? Yes, I own a business. They said, well, how do you have it? I have a couple hundred people in it. I said, well, is there a reason that says you own a business why you don't have to have 5,000? Is there a reason, you know? Like, you don't want 5,000 people to know you own a business? And they look at me like, well, it's the time, I guess. It's the time. So it's either a time thing for them or it's a knowledge thing.
Right.
And so what I say, is that you can build social for the rest of your life. Start now and always build it. If you have a small business, never stop building it.
Yeah, because it's going to be out there and it's not going away.
It's never going away. And it's going to get... I foresee the transition that we currently live in, you know, that is, you know, when you look back at traditional ways of things done. You walk into a business, you put down money, you buy a product or service, right? That is going to transition in the tech way that you walk in, you have a phone. You don't even have cash anymore, right? And it's
Right.
a phone hooked to a mobile device. And then you just click the phone and it buys the product or service. And that's where we're kind of, I mean, I think we're about, it'll happen in different parts of the world, different parts of places faster. I mean, California is an innovator.
Right. Things happen
Everything
very
that
fast.
happens in California is where it starts. And this is one of the major markets in the United States. And so this is the test market. I mean, I also say that when I sit here in California, think about that, and people go, "What's the test market?" I said, "Yeah, because the trends start here. The restaurant trends start here. The clothing trends start here. All these things are coming because that's why people come to California.
Right.
Most people are coming
Right.
because they know it's a trendsetter, and that's true in all the products and services that we kind of see coming through the arena right now.
Right.
Tesla, all these things that are coming through Silicon Valley, all the different products and services that are coming through the tech space. But what I was getting to is that what we see is the return to the 50s. Everything's closely networked among everybody they know, but in digital space, not in physical space,
Right.
but both. Because digital and physical space will merge.
Right.
There's going to be a merging going on.
So I'm not business. I have 200 friends. Who should I go out and friend? Do I just friend anybody, or should I go after certain people to friend?
Well, what you're looking in the social space is for social influence. And so, for example, you have certain influence in the community, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so your friends, your network of friends are probably other influencers. So what I'm looking for when I'm building quickly, or to help people build quickly, I'm looking to pick out 10 or 20 people they know that are influencers in the community or in an industry.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, in general, these people have a lot of contacts, actually, because they're influencers.
Right.
So they want to connect to a lot of people, and they want to be influential. So what I'm going to do is begin to look, and it's Facebook, and this is true in all of the social medias that I work in, to look at their networks. Because if I'm already a friend with them, and I'm with them, there's really not a reason I should not know who they know.
Right.
Right? And increasingly, when I just said what you just said, back to the 50s, like, so much was that, like, who you knew, and I knew who, and you knew that person, they introduced me to that person, and I was able to sell something because, he introduced me to Jim and John and Jill. And then, it was done, even Tupperware started that way, even Sears started that way, like a catalog, and the
Right.
catalog was sold like that. And that became a mega company in the United States. So what we're dealing with is relationship selling, which is going by very, very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for people to see it because they don't see the connection between the old school and the new school.
Yeah.
And so on that arena is what we're playing with right now. We're playing with that right now.
Oh, great. Well, that should help people get an idea of what they need to be doing here in this new market. And is there anything else in closing that you'd like to say? I think one of the things I'd like to do is invite you to write a column, and maybe people can respond with questions. Or how would you like to?
Yeah, no, I think that would be, I like to interact with people. I think that's a good opportunity for me to interact with people and help people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mostly what I want to do is help people. I believe in the golden rule. The old school golden rule was do unto others, you would do unto them, right? And I want, what I want for myself, I want for all people.
Right.
Right? And I really think, so in closing of that, I really think, is that what we're dealing with right now? The most networked people are increasingly going to have opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so my job is to teach people to be the most networked people, to duplicate myself,
Right.
so that they are prepared for the future. Because the future's going to come at a very fast pace right now.
Right.
And all the small businesses are going to have to adapt to it. I've made a statement before that 5 or 10 years from now, if an online, there's a small business right now that doesn't sell both online and physical, they may be in trouble, because they're losing, one, a lot of business, and two, they're losing share of businover
Right.
and over again. And because if they do have somebody that has adapted to the technology, then the pieces of the share of their business get smaller and smaller. The pie gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And so, for me, that's valuable that I can help people to adjust,
Right.
to know what's going to happen to them, and also to realize that we're in a great opportunity, not a sad time, like a bad economy time or something. Recently they said, they noticed that there's 100 Macy's closing. There's 100 Macy's closing. So I had this chat online. Oh, the economy is not strong, and we're headed for bad economy. But they didn't notice this, right? The year before, in 2015, the mobile sales at Macy's doubled.
Yeah.
They doubled, right?
Yeah.
So the logic is saying they're getting rid of real estate to put things on.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the logic. It makes logical business sense,
Yeah.
right?
Storefronts are dying. They're not necessary like they used to be.
It's a true statement, but what's unique about storefronts, and you'll see the ones that are thriving, is that they're telling stories. Okay? They're a story brand that's unique, and then everybody wants to meet there. They want to be involved there, and that's where community comes in on. So I don't see retail completely collapsing, because I've been in retail development and I've been in real estate development, in the early years. What I see it is transforming, right? So where technology molds into it, and it still exists because people want to still, the generation growing up right now, there's a lot of complaints about that, the old generation. Like they can't talk to people anymore, right? You can't, because you're feeling that's becoming people impersonal, where they're just detached, right? And, there's some validity to how the internet space is making young people detached, but at the same point, they want to physically be with each other. So they make events and they make groups and they make parties and they do those things so they can physically be with each other.
Right.
And so what we're seeing is that happening and emerge in both business and personal spaces, that it's going to change the way that is.
So it's a whole new way of communication.
It's a transformation. It's not going to end the way, it'll end the way we think we see, but it will not end the intercommunication with people, and products and services. That has always happened throughout time. Right? Has always happened throughout time.
Well, when I was a stockbroker, I remember reading a book by John Naisbitt, and it was very interesting because he talked about how one time railroads ruled the United States, and they forgot that they were in the transportation industry. They weren't the railroad industry like they thought they were. They were the transportation industry. And if they had thought that way, they would have expanded into cars and into airplanes and these other new technologies when they came out.
Right.
So you have to realize, what industry am I in? Well, I'm a newspaper, so my industry is getting information out to people about what's happening in the community. So I'm in a communication industry. I'm not in the newspaper industry. I'm in a communication industry. Even though I'm basically doing what a newspaper used to do, I'm doing it in a new way. I'm in the communication industry. I'm still doing news, but I'm doing it in the communication industry.
Yeah. The people that studied how things disrupt and did it, the early brilliant person was Einstein, right? Einstein would do relativity, and Tesla would do electricity and these things. But Einstein says something very famous, okay? And he says, imagination is more important than knowledge, right? And everybody used to try to figure out what that meant. And so I would study that, I studied a little bit. And he said, so he would go on to say there was two forms of imagination. He said there's synthetic imagination, which I tell people I work with all the time about this. And synthetic imagination is people looking at the world, and they kind of duplicate it, right? So they see, this is how they do business, this is how they do things, and they start to look at duplications and try to, see how other people are successful and try to duplicate it, right? But then Einstein said, well, the other form of imagination is creative imagination, right? And creative imagination, he says, is when you go past the synthetic, you look past the synthetic arena, and you look and go, what is not being done? What's not being done?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what happened when the airplane got invented, when the train got invented, and the internet got invented, and the car got invented. You know,
They were looking past.
They were looking past what was actually, you know, because if they just stayed in the present, that didn't seem like that could make any money, right?
Right.
I mean, it didn't make it. You've never seen it before. So how in the world could that make money?
Right.
Or how in the world could that change anything that people live
So they
on?
had to think out of the box and come
Yeah.
up with these new ideas.
Right, and that's what we're looking at in the small business sector right now with that, is that they can see what other people are doing and they can synthetically copy it, but they have to uniquely tell their own story, right? And then uniquely say why that story is interesting to people and sell in a creative way. So every product or service they have has to have a creative way to do that. And this explains viral phenomenon, it explains massive selling, and it explains this phenomenon we live in where there's huge abundance, right?
Right.
And there's an appearance of lack with huge abundance. So you can't have two. You can't have huge abundance and appearance of lack.
Right.
You know, they don't work together. It's a contradiction that doesn't make logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate your time, and I know the community appreciates your time, and we'll look forward after this to you writing and sharing, and if people have questions, they're welcome to contact you. How would you like to be contacted?
Well, you can contact me. I'm very social, so you can contact me on social. My firm is CassieCreativeSolutions.com, and so on there you can do that. You can get me directly through Facebook, Sean Cassidy.
Sean Cassidy, S-H-A-U-N.
S-H-A-U-N.
Cassidy, C-A-S-S-I-D-Y.
Right.
And what was the other site again?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can connect me there
Okay.
on LinkedIn. And Facebook directly, so you can chat with me directly on Facebook under Cassidy Creative Solutions, because I have a business page
Cassidy Creative Solutions. All right.
So it's directly under there. So not hard to find me, and you'll see the phone number whenever if you just Google Cassidy Virginia, you'll see the phone number. So, and then, you know, and people really, thousands of people have my phone number. So
And maybe we can even do something where we find a business and we show people how it's done, maybe.
yeah, we can go walk through the steps
Yeah.
and tell the story behind, you know, because the story I told the photographer, that was a behind the story, right?
Yeah.
You know, when news took on to that, they didn't know how that actually occurred.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, great. I thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you. Thank you,
Sean,
Paul.
and look forward to talking to you more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.